Hi guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to the month of May where we are celebrating Mermay by drawing 5 different characters based on 5 different types of mermaids. We are on week 3 currently. Week 1 we did sirens, week 2 we did selkies if you guys want to check those out, and for week 3 what I want to do today is a deep water mermaid. So I'm sure most of us are aware that deep water fish or deep ocean fish look a lot different than fish you would find in shallower waters. They have evolved different mechanisms of helping them find food. They have evolved differently to deal with the pressure of the deep ocean. They've got lots of like lights, big eyes, and scary features to kind of help them adapt to life in the pitch blackness. And just overall, I think very, very cool creatures. I love deep sea fish, and I'm super, super excited to try and make a character that is a mermaid based around the concept of a deep sea fish. So I want to go ahead and get started here. Unlike the first 2 mermaid characters we've done this month, this one is not a specific type of mermaid. We did sirens and we did selkies, which are kind of popular folk legends that sort of made their way into mainstream pop culture and rooted themselves in the mythos of the mermaid. For this one, this is going to be a little bit more of a generic mermaid. As far as I know, there's not really any mythos that we can follow to design this character, so I'm going to be leaning very heavily on biology instead and kind of figuring out how this mermaid would look if she evolved in the deep water. I'm also filming this in the morning, so we're having coffee today. So my first thought was kind of to make the mermaid a little bit lankier, because I'm thinking of like oarfish, giant squid, elbow squid, a lot of deep water eels and organisms and things like that. I think they tend to be a little bit bigger, a little bit longer, but I'm also thinking about all of the like microscopic life that's in the deep ocean. All the planktons and polyps and crustacean larvae, stuff like that. I do think it would be really cool to make like a really big mermaid though. So I think I'm gonna stick with that. I'm gonna make something like really, really big, really long, just to kind of allude to the mystery and the kind of scariness of the deep ocean. I think sticking with the really giant characteristics might be kind of fun. Ooh, actually, you know what? I have a better idea. Take her torso, make it a little bit bigger, and then I'm gonna play with a little bit of foreshortening here so that we've got her tail really trailing behind her kind of down into the depths. I think I'm gonna give her more of like an eel-like tail. I know eels are generally a little bit more tropical and not as deep water as one might expect, but I think it just adds to the kind of otherworldliness feeling that I want to try and give this character. Oh, I think she's definitely gonna have really long ears. Again, just to kind of set her apart from the other mermaids. Tail's still kind of bothering me a little. What if we do something kind of twisting around, just so that it fits into the canvas size a little better? Ooh, I have an idea. Okay. I want to make the fluke really, really big. Just kind of like taking up all the space behind her. And then on that fluke, I'm gonna do some like bioluminescence, which a lot of deep sea creatures have, and having that coming up behind her is kind of going to give her a nice frame, I think. Doing these little trails off of the fluke here as well, because I'm kind of thinking of an anglerfish for those. How they have those little like lures to attract smaller fish for them to eat. I realize it would make more sense to put them on the head, but maybe I'll do something on the head too. I just think they fit on the tail. Just throw some more fins in here. I think, especially these side fins, I'm gonna go for like a transparent look. One, because I don't want to cover up anything that's behind them. Like we've got this big, beautiful fluke back here that's gonna be covered up by a bit of this. But also because there's a lot of deep sea creatures that are just lacking pigment because they don't need it underwater. I think a lot of the time pigment is used to communicate to other animals, whether it be to try and attract a mate or to scare off predators or to communicate to a predator that you're poisonous. But in the deep sea, it's so dark, you just can't see colors. So I think a lot of deep sea creatures have just kind of dropped it. You know what else I think? I've always kind of liked the idea that we talked about with the siren, that the upper half of the mermaid, the human half, has evolved to be as pleasing and as attractive to like human beings as possible. But in the deep sea, there's no human beings down there. So a mermaid wouldn't need to evolve to look like them. So I'm kind of thinking it might be fun to play with some proportions a little bit. Just make her a little more alien and also just a little bit more utilitarian. I want to put long arms for that reason. Because the arms really aren't used for swimming. I think they're more of a grasping tool. And I think the long spindly arms could definitely be useful in the deep sea. Wow, this is so fun. After this series, I kind of want to try like making characters based off of animals. The deep sea fish, I'm having a blast trying to come up with this design. And I wonder what other characteristics I could add to different creatures or characters based on different kinds of animals. I also think on this one, because she doesn't have to pass as human, I'm gonna give her some pretty distinct gills. Actually, you know what? Generally I put them on the neck, but I kind of want to put them down here, down on the rib cage. I don't quite know how they would evolve this way, especially since other mermaids in this universe that I've created don't seem to have gills. But you know what? You gotta suspend your disbelief for a little bit, especially when talking about mythical creatures. I think that's a fun debate as well in the mermaid-loving community. Is do mermaids have gills or are they mammals? Do they have lungs? That's another thing. I'm not gonna give her a belly button because this one is very, very specifically based off of a fish. I'm gonna keep her pectoral muscles because she has to move her arms. But if she's not attracting humans and she doesn't have to produce milk for her young, then I'm gonna go ahead and say she does not have a need to develop breasts. I'm gonna put some dots here just for some bioluminescence down the front. Personally, I like to believe that mermaids are fish, so they're not going to have lungs. Or if they do have lungs, they're kind of like pseudo lungs that are more for display than anything. But then there are the mermaids that obviously are transforming on land and they have to have lungs then because how else are they going to be able to breathe? It's an interesting subject. I think there's both. I think mermaids are kind of like crabs. If you know the crab evolution thing, you know what I'm talking about, but how like multiple species has just kind of evolved to become crabs, even though they didn't share a common ancestor. I'd like to think that mermaids didn't share common ancestors, so it would make sense why some of them are fish and some of them are mammals. Oh, this is very, very fun. I love this. Let's go up to the face a bit. So I already did a mermaid without pupils. I did my siren without pupils just to kind of give it a little bit of an eerie feeling. But I feel like I kind of need to do another one without pupils because it's the deep sea. There's no need for sight. You can't see anything. I think instead of white though, maybe I'll just black out her eyes entirely. Yeah. Yeah, I like that. That's spooky. That is spooky kabuki. And then instead of eyebrows, what if I do little lures instead of eyebrows? Ooh, that's fun. Should I make them longer? I kind of like them like that, little antenna. Can I do a second one? Kind of look like whiskers, and I'm kind of here for it. Yeah, I like that. Ooh, I like that a lot. Kind of thinking anglerfish have those like really, really gnarly teeth, and I'm wondering if I want to do something similar with this one. Because most people, you think deep sea fish, you automatically think of an anglerfish. Because here's the thing, I gotta step away from this being like a pretty mermaid. Because she's not interacting with humans, she has no need to evolve based on human beauty standards. That is absolutely horrifying. I was gonna make her smiling, but I did that little corner and that's absolutely terrifying. I'm not gonna do that. I would rather her just be kind of listless. I'm gonna kind of deform the ears here as well. Again, just to give her a bit more of an alien appearance. I don't really have a reference for what I'm doing here. I kind of just want to make it look a little bit like fins and just a little bit eerie. Do some bioluminescence down the top there. Yeah, she's gonna be glowing all over. All right, I do still want to give her some hair because I think it would be kind of cool if she had like pure white hair. I'm kind of thinking of like jellyfish tentacles and how they're a little bit like wispy and foggy. That's the vision that I've got going for her hair. Of course, I also don't want to cover up any of the cool little features that I just gave her. Fill in the areas that are not framed by the tail and make it hair. And I'll probably put some little like bioluminescent strands in the hair as well. That seems fun. Alrighty, kind of want to put something in here still to indicate like how big she is. Because I'm still envisioning her as being like the size of a orca maybe, I think would be pretty cool. But you're not really going to be able to determine that if you don't have anything to compare it to. So hopefully I can figure out something to do in the rendering that really gets her size across. I love the idea of the little bioluminescent lights kind of looking like earrings. That's very fun to me. All right, well, there is the sketch. I think, ooh, one more thing. I think I want her to have webbed fingers because they'll definitely help with swimming. And again, she doesn't need to look too human since she doesn't have any interactions with humans. Yeah, all right, cool. There we go. That is the finished deep sea mermaid, or at least the sketch of the deep sea mermaid. I'm gonna go ahead and render her off screen as always. I will be doing a speed draw of that though, and I'll be trying to post those speed draws to the YouTube shorts if you guys wanna check those out. It will be posted the same day that this one's posted, so you can head over there afterwards and check that out. But that is the finished sketch of this video. I will meet you guys back here once I have the final render and we'll discuss a little bit more. Hi guys, I am back with the finished product here. I cannot tell you how obsessed I am with this one. The bioluminescence turned out so cool. I was kind of doubting myself there for a while with it because it didn't look like it was giving off the right effect. But once I darkened the background and the edges of the canvas, it just popped in the most spectacular way. I'm so happy with it. I do think I bit off a little bit more than I could chew on this one. I was definitely going for something a lot more dramatic and a lot more spooky looking, and I'm just not at that skill level yet. So I would absolutely love to retry something similar to this in the future. I do wish I was able to better portray the size of this character. I added like the shark and the dolphins in the background to kind of get an idea of how big this character is supposed to be, but I don't know if it really comes across. They kind of just look like they're in the far background. Either way, even though it's not exactly what I was envisioning, I'm still extremely happy with this character. I think it turned out so good. So if you want to see some of my other art, you can find me on Instagram under Threadwing. I'm also doing another Mermay series there where I'm doing mermaids inspired by sushi and different foods found in a Japanese restaurant. So you can go check out that collection on my Instagram. If you want to see the full finished piece of this mermaid, it'll be on my Instagram at the start of June. However, it is going up for free on my Patreon right now as soon as this video comes out. If you would like to follow me on my Patreon, that is also under Threadwing. And if you want to subscribe to one of the 5 different tier levels there, you get tons of early access and exclusive content, including work in progress sketches, early access to everything that I post at least 3 days early, any warm-up doodles, any full completed pieces that I just don't post anywhere else. And you can get access to all of my live stream archives, which by the way, I do also stream on Twitch. If you happen to be watching this on the day that it comes out, I will be live today, Tuesday the 16th from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I also have a TikTok as well, where I'm posting all the speed draws from my Instagram collection this month. And if you want to see the speed draw of the rendering for this mermaid, you can actually find it under my shorts here on YouTube. And lastly, make sure you guys subscribe so you can find your way back here for next week's video. I love you guys so much, and stay tuned for Mermay Week 4. Bye!